All right, today we're diving into something called the intellectual echo. It's this really cool philosophical argument from our source material that takes a stab at one of the biggest mysteries out there, our own consciousness. And it does it using a pretty clever scientific analogy. So, let's get into it.
Okay, let's kick things off with a fact that, well, it might just blow your mind a little. Think about it. With all our crazy powerful telescopes and technology, we've never actually seen the Big Bang happen. Not one person. It's an event that's completely beyond our direct line of sight.
So, that leads to a pretty obvious question, right? If nobody saw it, how on earth are we so sure it even happened? I mean, how do you prove something that massive without any eyewitnesses?
Well, the answer is actually kind of simple, but it's also incredibly profound. We didn't see the event itself. Nope. Instead, we found what it left behind. We found its echo.
And this idea, this concept of an echo, that's the key to this whole thing. The argument we're looking at basically uses this scientific kind of thinking to tackle a huge philosophical and even theological question. Now, this cosmic echo, it's got a proper scientific name. The Cosmic Microwave Background Radiation, or CMBR. You can just think of it as the leftover heat, like the warmth still in the air after a giant firework. It's this faint glow that's literally everywhere in the universe, and it's the smoking gun, the definitive proof that the Big Bang was real. So here's the big takeaway, the really crucial point. We can prove something massive and ancient that we never saw, just by studying what it left behind. The radiation isn't the Big Bang, of course, but it points right back to it, okay? Remember that. That's super important for what's coming next.
All right, so how does a cosmic echo from the dawn of time have anything to do with us? Well, this is where the whole argument makes a really cool pivot. We're going from the massive, cosmic scale down to something deeply personal, from the universe out there to the universe inside our own heads.
The source material basically asks this incredible question. What if our own consciousness, our own self-awareness, is a kind of echo too? What if it's a leftover signal pointing back to a completely different kind of unseen ancient origin?
And boom, there it is. This is the absolute heart of the argument. It's drawing a direct parallel. On one hand, you have cosmic radiation, a proven scientific fact pointing to the Big Bang. And on the other hand, the argument suggests that our own self-awareness, that weird, amazing ability we have to think about ourselves and our own existence, could be a similar kind of evidence pointing toward an intelligent source.
The source even has a name for it. It calls our consciousness intellectual radiation. The idea is that it's the signal left over from some original, conscious, and intelligent source, in pretty much the same way that cosmic radiation is the leftover heat from the universe's explosive start.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But how does the logic behind it actually work? Let's walk through the philosophical steps the source lays out.
It all kicks off with a classic philosophical concept called the principle of sufficient reason. Sounds complicated, but it's not. It just means that for anything to happen, there has to be a cause that's actually capable of making it happen. So, the argument goes like this. You can't get self-awareness from stuff that isn't aware, like rocks, gas, or random particles. It just doesn't compute. It's kind of like trying to get fire from a block of ice. The cause just isn't sufficient for the effect.
So the logic train goes something like this. Step 1, look at the effect. Hey, we're here, we're self-aware, we think. Step 2, ask, what kind of cause is powerful enough to create that? What could possibly create intelligence? And step 3, the conclusion it lands on is that the only thing that could create intelligence is an intelligence that was already there to begin with.
If that's a bit hard to wrap your head around, the source gives us another really great analogy, the mirror. Think of our intelligence as a reflection. It's not perfect, right? It's finite, it's limited. But here's the thing. You can't have a reflection without something real being reflected in the first place. The reflection proves the object exists.
And that's a pretty profound idea. If you follow this line of thinking, our ability to reason and be self-aware isn't just some lucky, random fluke of evolution. Nope, it's a deliberate reflection, even if it's a faint one, of a massive intelligence that existed before us and maybe even before the universe itself. Okay, so this isn't just some abstract philosophical game. The source actually connects this whole argument to a specific theological framework, pulling directly from the Quran.
One of the key verses it brings up is from Surah At-Tin, and it says that human beings were created in the best design. The specific Arabic term for that is ahsani taqween.
So what does that actually mean, best design?
Well, according to the interpretation in our source, it's not just talking about our physical bodies, it's about our incredibly complex minds, our potential to learn and grow morally and intellectually, and maybe most importantly, our weirdly unique ability to think about huge concepts like infinity. The idea is that this design itself is meant to be a sign, an ayah, that points right back to its designer.
So, let's bring it all home. If our minds are the echo, then what does that say about the source of the echo? This is where everything we've talked about really comes together.
The source points us to another famous verse, the throne verse, which describes God with the name Al-Qayyum, which means the self-sustaining. And this is a really critical difference. Think about it. Our consciousness depends on everything, our brains, our bodies, the air we breathe. But the source, Al-Qayyum, is described as being completely independent of everything.
Al-Qayyum basically means the necessary existence, the first domino, the uncaused cause. So in this view, God isn't just another being playing by the rules of physics. He's the intelligence that wrote the rules of physics. The source of the echo has to be outside of the universe that the echo is in. So when you boil it all down, the final point is this. Our consciousness is not just some cosmic accident.
Instead, it's argued to be something deliberate, a reflection, a sign that's been woven into the very fabric of who we are.
And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. If our consciousness really is an echo of something greater, a signal from before time began, then what is it that it's asking us to listen to?